everyone, my name is Jasmine. Just going to give people a few minutes to hop on. In the meantime, you can get your mat ready. I have 2 blocks, but I know most of you are at home, so feel free to grab books or whatever you have that are handy that will be able to assist you. Once you've settled into the space onto your mat, go ahead and find a comfortable seat. You can sit crisscross, or if you would prefer, you can sit on your feet or even on a block. So begin to bring more weight into your hips. Sit up tall. Have the crown of your head stretching towards the ceiling. On an inhale, we'll lift our arms overhead. Exhale, drop them down by your side. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift your arms overhead. This time your palms touch. Exhale, your hands to the center of your chest. Inhale, lift your arms overhead. Go ahead and twist to your right side. With every inhale, lengthen your spine. Every exhale, twist a little deeper. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, back to center. Go ahead and release to the opposite side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Allow your palms to drop in front of you. Go ahead and stretch and fold forward. Stretch your arms out long. Really press your hands into the ground. Press them into the mat. Bring more weight into your hips. On an inhale, walk your hands back towards your body. Sit upright. If your legs are crossed, go ahead and switch the cross of your legs. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Allow one palm to drop and then stretch over to the side. Really breathe deeply. Feel the stretch along the side of your body. Inhale, back to center. Go ahead and switch sides. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, back to center. We'll go to the first side once again. You can stay up on your palm, or feel free to crawl your hand out, come down to your forearm, just intensifying the stretch so it's not necessary. Deep inhale. Exhale, back to center. Go ahead and drop your opposite palm. Really reach over to the opposite end of the room. Same option as before. You can stay on your palm or walk your fingertips out, come down to your forearm. Let's take a deep inhale here. Exhale, back to center. Go ahead and drop your palms down. You can have your hands rest on your thighs or bring them on your knees. Begin to rotate your shoulders back. You can make small or large circles, just really loosening up the shoulders here. Go ahead and switch directions if you haven't already. And then come into stillness. Let's focus on our neck now. Have your head come down and forward, and then up and back. Go as fast or as slow as you would like. Feel free to pause on any tight space and just really breathe into anything that feels a little crunchy. Switch directions if you haven't already. And then come into stillness. Go ahead and roll over your knees, come onto hands and knees, tabletop. Set up your foundation here. Make sure your arms and legs are straight up and down. Then begin to round your back and keep rounding your back. Gaze back at your navel. Really press the tops of your feet and your hands into the mat. Cat pose. On your next breath, drop your your torso, lift your hips and shoulders, even lift your gaze slightly for cow pose. Move back and forth between these two poses, just warming up the spine here. Feel free to bring some extra movement. Maybe you circle out your hips, shift your weight forward and back. Just do whatever your body is calling for. And then come into a neutral spine. Separate your knees as wide as your mat. Bring your big toes to touch. Sit your hips back to meet your heels for child's pose. Really allow your torso to fold in between your thighs. Stretch your arms out long and focus on your breath here. Allow it to move freely throughout your body. On your next breath, shift your weight forward slightly, tuck your toes, push yourself up and back into downward facing dog. Feel free to bring some movement here. Maybe you like to bend both knees, press your hips back. Feel free to pedal out your feet. Shift your weight forward and back. Once you feel ready, come into stillness. From your hands, really press into the mat. Press your chest back towards your thighs. A slight bend in your knees is totally fine, especially if your low back starts to round. Then roll out into plank. Feel free to drop your knees down if it feels better for your body. Hugging your elbows in towards your body, lower all the way down. On an inhale, peel your shoulders away from the mat for cobra. Exhale, lower down. Make your way back into downward facing dog. Bend your knees slightly. Look in between your hands. Step, walk, or jump to the top of your mat, forward fold. With an inhale, we'll lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up, arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale your hands to the center of your chest. Inhale, lift your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. During this forward fold, separate your feet a little wider than your hips. Go ahead and grab your elbows. Begin to sway back and forth. To release any tension in your neck, shake your head yes and no. Just really allow your head to hang heavy. Go ahead and release your elbows. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Place your hands on either side of your feet. You can step or jump back into plank. Lower all the way or halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, make your way back into downward facing dog. Take 2 more cycles of breath here. Then bend your knees, lower them to the mat. Come into tabletop once more. Lift your right arm parallel to the ground and your left leg back. So your opposite hand and foot. Really reach your limbs in opposite directions. On your next breath, return your hand and knee to the mat. Do a few rounds of cat-cow just to reset. And then come into a neutral spine. This time, lift your left arm parallel, right leg back. Again, opposite hand and foot. Really reach your limbs in opposite directions. Exhale, release. Cat-cow again. And come into a neutral spine. Lift your right arm forward. Left leg back. We've been here before. You can stay here or begin to bend your back leg. Reach back, grab your foot. Kick your foot into your hand. Really open up through your chest. Release the same way you came in. And we'll switch sides. Left arm forward. right leg back. Again, you always have the option of staying exactly where you are, or bend your knee, reach back, grab your foot. On your next breath, release. And then come into child's pose. During this child's pose, bring your hands together in prayer. Bring your prayer hands to the nape of your neck. Press down into your elbows. Feel the stretch along the backs of your arms. Smooth and steady out your breath here. On your next breath, stretch your arms out long. Shift your weight forward slightly. Tuck your toes. Push yourself up, back, down dog. Step your right foot in between your hands. Lower your back knee to the mat. Inhale, rise up with your hands on your hips. Interlace your fingers at the small of your back. Bring your shoulders together on your back. Begin to straighten your arms. You can stay here or hinge your hips forward as your knuckles stretch back. Low lunge, hands bound. Really open up throughout your chest. Move your shoulders away from your ears. Release your interlace. Bring your hands to frame your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your leg. Step your left foot forward. Then step your right foot back. Lower your knee to the mat. Inhale, rise up. Interlace your fingers. Straighten your arms. Hinge your hips forward. Take 2 more cycles of breath. Release your interlace. Bring your hands to the top of your mat. Tuck your right toes, lift your legs, step back plank or modified plank. Lower all the way down. Pause here. Bring your arms along your body with your palms facing up. If you have any low back pain, keep your feet separated. Otherwise, bring your big toes to touch. On an inhale, we'll lift everything off the mat. Squeeze your legs towards one another. Really stretch your hands towards your feet. Exhale, release. Stack your hands on top of one another. Rest your forehead on your hands. Smooth and steady out your breath. Bottom of your next exhale, bring your hands to frame your chest. Tuck your toes, push yourself up and back, down dog. Step your right foot in between your hands. Spin your back heel down. With an inhale, rise up. Warrior 2. Really stretch your arms in opposite direction. Generous bend in your front knee, gaze over your right fingertips. Then bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Move into side angle. You can stay exactly where you are, or your right hand can travel down to your mat or even to your block. On your next inhale, come back to Warrior 2. This time, flip your front palm. Your back arm can slide down your leg or come to your opposite hip crease. Make sure you have that same bend in your front knee and breathe deeply. Come back to Warrior 2. Cartwheel your hands down to the top of your mat. Step back plank or modified plank. And let's go through a flow. Lower all the way down. Inhale, peel your shoulders away from the mat. Exhale, make your way back to down dog. Just gonna switch sides so everyone can see my body. With your left foot, Step in between your hands. Spin your back heel down. Inhale, rise up. Warrior two. Bring your left forearm to your left thigh, side angle. Same options before, you can stay exactly where you are, or your left hand can travel to your block or the mat. Inhale, everyone back up to warrior two. Flip your front palm, move into reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Everyone step back into child's pose. Use the next few moments to reconnect with your breath. Again, notice how your body is feeling. On your next breath, shift your weight forward and then move back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot in between your hands. Lower your back knee to the mat. Keep your left hand planted. Turn and twist to the right. You can stay where you are with your knee lowered, or you can tuck your back toes, lift your leg. Really work on stacking your shoulders here, opening up your chest. On your next breath, bring your right hand down to your mat. Step your left foot forward. Step your right foot back. Again, you have the option of lowering your knee down to the mat. Leave your right hand planted. Turn and twist to the left. Same option as before. You can tuck your back toes, lift your leg. On your next breath, return your left hand to the mat. Step back into plank or modified plank. Lower all the way or halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees slightly. Look in between your hands. Step, walk or jump to the top of your mat. Forward fold. With an inhale, we'll lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale your hands to the center of your chest. Just move into a simple balancing pose. We'll move into tree. So bring all the weight into your right leg. You have a few different options. You can bring your left foot and it can stay at your ankle. You can rise it up or even have it rest on your thigh. Really just avoid your knee. A few different options for your hand variations. You can have your hands at heart center. Arms can be overhead. You can bring them into goddess arms, kind of whatever your body is feeling today. Just root down in your standing leg. Lift up out of your waist. Maybe lift the corners of your mouth. Exhale, release. Shake it out if you need to. And then we'll prepare for the second side. Bring all the weight into your left leg. And then move into your variation of tree. Smooth and steady out your breath. Find a point that's in front of you that's not moving to focus on. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift your arms overhead. Maybe this time do a mini back bend, thumbs come behind you. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Place your hands on either side of your feet. Step, step, or jump back into plank. Lower all the way or halfway. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, make your way back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot in between your hands. Bring both hands inside of your foot. You can stay up on Your hands are one at a time lower down to your forearms or block. Gaze back at your left toes. If it feels better for your body, you can lower your left knee to the mat. Hug your right knee in towards your body. Really press into the mat, either with your hands or your forearms. If you're using a block, press your forearms or your elbows into the block. Take a cycle of breath here. Bottom of your exhale. If you've lowered down to your hands, a block, or your forearms, come back up on your hands. Tuck your left toes, lift your leg. Bring your hands to frame your foot. Step your left foot forward. Step your right foot back. Bring both hands inside of your foot. Same option as before, you can lower your back knee. You can lower down to a block or your forearms. Squeeze your left knee in towards your body. Gaze back at your right toes or your right knee if it's lowered. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, return to your hands. If you've lowered down, bring both hands to frame your foot. Everyone step back in a downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Come to standing on your knees. We're going to move into camel pose. So if you have blocks, bring them on either side of your ankles. Bring your hands to your low back. Bring your shoulders together. Tighten your glutes. Begin to push your hips forward as your gaze comes up and then back. Begin to curl back. Your hands can stay at your low back. Really stop anywhere you feel comfortable. Or, one at a time, release your hands to your blocks. Continue to push your hips forward. Smooth and steady out your breath. If you find that you don't need your blocks or your books, hands can come down to your ankles. If your hands have traveled, bring them back to your low back. Slowly rise up. Head should be the last thing to lift. Move into child's pose. On your next breath, make your way into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend your knee, step your foot through in between your hands. This time, keep your back heel lifted. On an inhale, rise up. Crescent lunge. Generous bend in your front knee. Really lift up out of your waist. Make your arms as straight as they'll go. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, release your hands to the mat. Step your left foot forward. Then step your right foot back. Once you feel steady, inhale, rise up. Take a cycle of breath here. Exhale, release your hands to the mat. Step back into plank, or again, you have the option to lower your knees. Hug your elbows in towards your body. Inhale, peel your shoulders away from the mat. Exhale, back to down dog. Bend your knees. Come to have a seat. Have your legs stretched out long in front of you. Then bend your knees. Place both feet on the mat. Bring your right ankle to your left knee, making a figure four. It's really important to flex your foot. Breathe deeply, sit up tall. Go ahead and switch out your legs. Again, flex your foot. On your next breath, go ahead and release your foot down to the mat and come to lying down on your back. Bend both knees. Bring your arms out to a T or a broken T if you don't have a lot of room. Allow your knees to fall to the right. As your gaze comes to the left, breathe deeply here. You can stay exactly where you are, or your right ankle can come on top of your left knee. Inhale your knees back to center. Then have them fall to the left as your gaze comes to the right. Same option as before. Your left ankle can come on top of your right knee. Inhale your knees back to center. Then hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a tight squeeze. Lift your head and shoulder off the mat. Maybe say a few kind words to yourself, giving yourself gratitude for setting time aside to focus on your practice. Go ahead and release and take any last few movements before resting. Feel free to take happy baby or another twist. Do whatever your body is calling for. And then go ahead and get into a position where your body can relax completely. Feel free to pause this video, as most likely when I end it, another video will start playing automatically. So take your time, relax all of your muscles. Your palms can face up for a more receiving motion, or feel free to have them face down to feel more grounded. Focus on your breath here. Maybe you start to match the length of your inhales with the length of your exhales. And when you're ready, bring small movements back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll over to your favorite side and pause there. Then press up into a seat. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. Again, my name is Jasmine. Please consider donating to Yoga Buzz. If you have any questions, comment below. Thank you. Have a great night. Namaste.